All right, duck season is right around the corner, you guys, and with only a few weeks left here until duck season starts, a couple in North Dakota here, I wanted to break down a video of how I learned the Cajun squeal. So the Cajun squeal is definitely a difficult note. It is not like the cluck, it is not like the quack, it is not like the feed chuckle. For a duck call, it is one of the more harder things to learn, and I think it's even harder to learn than the bouncing hen. However, let's break this down. Let's make this a quick video. I don't want to waste your guys' time, but I made this video because I just learned how to do the Cajun squeal, and I wanted to make a video for you guys out there because I literally watched every single YouTube video, and it took me about the whole summer. Now, I didn't practice as much as I should have, but just wanted to say that I hope this video can help you guys because there's kind of one crucial thing that led me over the edge, and I was able to start doing this. So let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, a couple questions that I wanted to know that I really didn't kind of get answered until I kind of watched other videos, and some of them had them, some didn't. First of all, do you need a single reed or a double reed? Okay, so let's break this down. Double reed, I'm sure you guys have heard, maybe you have. If you haven't, double reed is an all-around easier call to do duck calls with. So whether it's the feed chuckle, whether it's the hail, whether it's the Cajun squeal, it's easier to do. However, the single reed sounds better, and that's what all the pros are running. On to my next part, double reed, single reed. We know that the single reed is better, but if you're starting out, I would definitely suggest the double reed, and that's actually the calls that I'm going to be using today in this video. I don't even have a single reed yet because I'm not good enough to blow that single reed, and I'm just kind of getting down the fundamentals of the double reed. But now, number two, wood, or should you have acrylic? Which one is better? So again, it's kind of like single reed, double reed. Acrylic's going to sound a little bit better for the Cajun squeal. However, I believe that the wood one is actually a little bit easier to call on. Now you're going to have a little bit more of like a scratchy, not like a, it's more of like a rattling sound, I would say, with the wood call. Rather, with the acrylic call, there's not that wood to like block that sound. It's kind of all going to go out. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's kind of what I learned from other people. Okay, so tip number 3, what should I be saying into the call? This is probably one of the most important things to start off with. So I've watched all the videos, right? And some people say the word hush. That is a great place to start. And I would say definitely try that. Some people are going to say slowly raise your tongue to the roof of your mouth while you're saying it. And some people are going to say the quack and kind of squeeze the air off. Some people are just going to say keep your mouth in the same spot, close that air. Some people say use your lips. Some people say use your tongue. So here's my advice to you. Take all this in, watch all the videos out there. But what I've learned is that I literally tried all of these things, and nothing seemed to really be working. But the one crucial thing that helped me catapult this, it was by doing this. And it's just giving it a lot of air and slowly cut it off until you get that squeal, that Cajun squeal sound, right? So, and it's not going to sound good by any means, and I'm sure you've heard that, but let's get right into it. And once you get that squealing noise that you like, and notice that for me, it even took a couple times to get that squealing noise that I want. And it's all about closing that air pressure down, whether it's with your tongue or whether it's with your lips. For me, it works a little bit better by raising my jaw and closing my lips. Then once you find that spot, don't just raise your tongue up and your lips up every time while saying the quack. It's really, for me at least, it wasn't about focusing on the word quack and cutting the air off. It's about cutting the air off, but then once you find that spot, just keep that same spot and give it another breath of air. So let's find it. Right there, and then just give it another breath of air. Don't move. And then once you can get that first note down, just work it in faster, give it another breath of air, another breath of air, kind of like you're doing another quack into it. It's like, except same thing. Now you're just in the same spot, except you're not saying the quack into it. You're just giving it another breath of air. And then notice once you get the sound down, then you can play with higher pressure, lower pressure, and then work it in from there. Go low to high, go high to low, and then keep going. That's the one most important thing to do. Now, how can you work some other things into it to make it better, right? So we talked about the single reed versus the double reed. We talked about the acrylic versus the wood, okay? The only other thing I can say is try little hacks like the word hush. I kind of mentioned that earlier, but if you say hush, you can kind of work your way up. But also, the word hush might not be the best for you because that's more of a tongue inflection, and I'm just better at just closing my lips. So, but it's definitely a good place to start, and if it works for you, sometimes you can learn much faster. But the word hush, I don't know, for me, it just, you hear that rattling sound too. That's kind of what I was talking about with the wood, where if we try it with this, it sounds a little bit different. All right, another thing I wanted to talk on is, do I have the right call? You have your double reed, you're learning, which is great. It's the right call. You have your wood or acrylic. Either one is going to work because they're both going to sound pretty similar, especially when you're starting out. But now you feel like you're doing it right. You've been doing this for a couple months and you still can't get it down, right? You still can't really get that Cajun squeal and make it sound ducky. Once you get to that point and you're still struggling, guys, it might not be all you. For me, I learned just with a simple tune of a duck call. I watched a couple YouTube videos, and I'm not going to give you any advice on that because I'm very new on tuning a duck call, but watch a couple of videos on how to tune a duck call, and just that little bit can take you from amateur to just almost intermediate, just like that. Because the call you have might sound like trash, but if you can just tune it a little bit, because every duck call is shipped a different way when you get it, and it's honestly not all the duck calls' fault. So even if you have a cheap duck call, you can tune it and almost make it sound twice as good. So I highly suggest watching a video. It kind of sucks, but learn how to tune your duck call. Don't be afraid to wreck it, because like I said, if you're at this moment right now and you can't really get any further, you can't make it worse. So tune your duck call, and that can actually make that Cajun squeal even easier. So that kind of wraps up this video today, guys. I really hope that these tips and tricks helped you, because there's some videos that just don't talk about this stuff as much as I would have liked to know when I was learning it, just like you guys. But duck season's right around the corner, guys. Get this Cajun squeal down, learn it, practice it, even just a little bit a day, 15, 20, 30 minutes a day. Go in the garage, go for a drive, have your call in your car. Whenever you go for a drive, then it's there, and you can start practicing. The best thing to do, guys, is just practice and don't give up. It's going to take a bit. It is a hard call to learn. You're not going to get it overnight. You're not going to get it in a week or two. It might take a month, but the more you practice, the faster it's going to get, and that's just like anything in life. But let's learn the Cajun squeal, guys, and let's kill some more ducks this season. All right, and then one more thing, guys, today I wanted to kind of run you through what I'm calling on and just the different sounds between these three duck calls that I have. So the one that is in the video that I'm calling with, and that sounds the best for me at least, is the Jace Richardson Pro, the wood style here. Then the other one I have is the classic Ducks next gen call. This is a couple year old. This call is about 3 years old now. I don't even know if they make it anymore, but this is a classic double reed. And then this one is a white acrylic cupped comeback call. All three of these calls here are double reeds, and they're all fairly cheap and inexpensive. Good calls to learn on, especially. But for me, the one that sounds the best, that I can kind of get on, I can go high to low, I can control that cadence and that pitch, is the Jace Richardson Pro. It's a wood, it's double reed, it's easy to learn on. And if you're looking for a good call, I would highly suggest the Jace Richardson. But I'm going to give you a kind of a sound on all three of these. And some you'll notice, for me at least, sound better than others. And I struggle with this because I'm just learning on this too, and sometimes they don't sound the best. But let's start with the Jace Richardson. Now the ducks. And now the cupped comeback.